Breaking news, a jury finding Bernard Jackson guilty on all counts.
Russ Potasek is live at the Jackson County Courthouse. The jury just returned the verdict about 10 minutes ago. Russ.
Yeah, I mean, we are just getting the word on this verdict. Guilty, guilty, guilty. All 18 counts of robbery, sodomy, and rape of 4 women in a spree of rapes that began in 1983 and continued until 1984. The jury deliberated for less than 5 hours before coming back with this verdict of guilty in all counts, a verdict that could put Bernard Jackson behind bars for the rest of his life. You're about to hear what jurors here heard right before going into their deliberations. The defense says the DNA evidence presented in the case isn't the solid evidence the state claims.
Mistakes are made in science. Mistakes are made in evidence collection and evidence securing and keeping evidence. And in this case, mistakes were made.
And Jackson's attorneys say the prosecutor shouldn't gloss over the crime lab's loss of accreditation.
If we say accreditation isn't a big deal, then I could buy some beakers and some Bunsen burners and run an unaccredited science lab out of my basement.
The defense stressed how easily DNA can be transferred, but the prosecutor said that argument is irrelevant.
So, but the transfer of the type that happened in this case wasn't by handshake, folks. How does semen transfer?
And the state maintains
there was no contamination. Zero, none.
Give them what they haven't gotten for almost 30 years. And that is one word: justice.
With that, the future of Bernard Jackson was in the hands of the jury. And the jury did just that. One of the rape victims from that 1983-84 spree was in the courtroom hearing that verdict, guilty on all 18 counts. At the Bernard Jackson trial, Russ Potasek, NBC Action News.
Hey, Russ, I'm curious to hear how that victim reacted. Obviously, Bernard Jackson is seeming to be emotionless in this whole trial. How did the victim react when the verdict was read?
You know, we have a live blogger in the newsroom at NBCActionNews.com who was actually in the courtroom during that. I was outside watching the camera on monitors, and the camera is very careful not to show images of any of the victims or jurors, so I did not see that reaction. But, of course, tonight everyone wants to know, does this bring closure to those victims?
So you perhaps were watching Jackson. Any response from him?
Well, throughout this trial, Jackson has remained mostly very quiet. In fact, today I got the only, I've tried to talk to him every day, and today I got the only response I have. I said, "Are you feeling hopeful?" That was about 8 hours ago, and Bernard Jackson shook his head affirmatively. I have not seen him since he has been found guilty on all 18 counts.
Hey, Russ, I want to ask you about the jurors. We see them when we cover trials like this, passing in the hall sometimes. There was a lot of gruesome evidence in this case. How did the jurors seem to be as they entered the courtroom each day, as they left after the testimony?
Well, the court was very careful to protect the privacy of the jury. In fact, they set up a bulletin board that blocked the view of the jurors from the people in the courtroom. So in this case, unlike a lot of other cases that I know you've been at, we had very little interaction with that jury.
Of course, they have the choice to talk now, so we'll let you get back to your job there. Thanks, Russ, for your coverage. Many Waldo area